What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to EP09. Okay, so check it out, you guys. We have the results from the Orlando Pro, and in a massive upset, Phil Clahar comes in and defeats Hassan Mostafa to take home the win and the Olympia qualification. And this really is a massive upset here, you guys. Literally everyone out there had Hassan winning this show. But look, one thing I did want to just quickly mention before we really get into it is that for an IFBB Pro League Olympia qualifier to not have a live stream is a massive mistake on behalf of the promoters. The USA Fit Games really made a big mistake here. This is a disservice to the fans and to the athletes competing in the show. And I couldn't believe that in this day and age, there was no live stream for this show. But anyway, guys, aside from that, just taking a look at Hassan here, I wouldn't say that Hassan wasn't conditioned. He was conditioned, but Phil was not only able to hang with Hassan from a size standpoint, but Phil just had more detail in his physique, especially in the quads from the front. And it was actually a tie on the scorecards, you guys. The official scorecard from the show said here, tie broken by relative placing, which I honestly don't understand, but I do understand why Phil won just by comparing him to Hassan. The fact of the matter is, Hassan looked great, but he slipped on conditioning again. So, I don't know what this guy has to do at this point. He was on 0 carbs since the Toronto Pro. That's now 2 shows in a row that he took second place. Maybe he'll go to Vancouver or Chicago to compete next, but of course, I mean, even if he does win in either of those shows, that'll be 3 peaks throughout the year before you consider the Olympia peak. So, Hassan has a road ahead of him and some decisions to make, really, moving forward. But for now, congrats on second place to Hassan, congrats on Phil Clahar taking home the victory. Oh, and shout out to my boy Emmanuel Alvarez. He didn't take second place like I thought he would, but 4th place in his pro debut and getting that first call out. Watch out for this guy in the future. Alright, so I just mentioned the Chicago Pro already, and I mentioned in a previous video how one name was absent from the Orlando Pro competitors list, that name being Patrick Moore. And look, again, I know how a lot of you guys feel about Patrick Moore, but listen, just hear me out on this one, okay? Patrick announced on his Instagram that he's now planning on doing the Chicago Pro, so that would put Patrick at 3 weeks out at this point. And look, you guys, I'm going to be honest here. This is the 3rd attempt for Patrick to compete since the 2023 Arnold Classic. He cited personal reasons for missing out on the Cali Pro. He gave 0 explanation on why he missed the Orlando Pro. And honestly, for 3 weeks out of the Chicago Pro, he just looks like he's more like 8 or 10 weeks out of being stage ready, you guys. This is all time that Patrick Moore could have been focusing on putting on the necessary size to be more competitive on a pro stage. But just continuously staying in some sort of prep mode and not being able to really deliver, this really isn't helping Patrick from what I can tell you guys. And like I said, I know how some of you guys feel about Patrick Moore out there at this point. A lot of you think he's not even worth mentioning at this point. And I understand that, I really do. But you know, when I did see this, I was really surprised at this announcement. And I would like to know ultimately why he did drop out of Orlando. Anyway, you guys let me know down in the comments what you think about Patrick Moore. Do you think he'll actually show up in Chicago this time? But moving right along here, guys, I've got an update on Rubiel Mosquera AKA Neckzilla. He's now made an official announcement on his YouTube channel that after spending some time in the IFBB Elite Pro, he's now going to be switching over to the IFBB Pro League. Now, I've spoken about this guy in a previous video, some of you guys might remember. I was really impressed by his physique, pretty much right from the start. And I think Rubiel is looking improved since the last time I spoke about him as well. Now, Rubiel says in his update that he's switching to the IFBB Pro League for really 2 reasons. And this was all interpreted through auto-translate, you guys, so I did my best to sort through it. But basically, from what I can tell, Rubiel was not getting any guarantees in terms of sponsorship income, and the IFBB Elite Pro was affecting his ability to make money, as well as he apparently feels like he was being overlooked at the last couple of shows he did, or, dare I say, punished by being given lower placings than what he felt he deserved. So all things led to Rubiel making the decision to switch to the IFBB Pro League. He's going to start out in the NPC and then move on to the Pro League when he earns his Pro card. He plans on trying to earn his Pro card in Dubai at the Dubai Pro in September, and I think for a September show, he does look right on track here. He really does have a crazy physique. The guy is just so round, and the muscle bellies just really pop right off of his physique, and it looks like he's much more balance between his upper and lower body as well. It looks like the legs have really come up. But let me know in the comments below how you guys think Rubiel will do in the IFBB Pro League, because personally, I think he can do pretty well. Okay, so last up for you guys here, Andrew Jack took to his Instagram to update the fans and the competitors in his own competition, the Andrew Jack Classic, which was happening this past weekend in South Africa. And he said here that, unfortunately, he was not going to be able to be in attendance. Check it out here.
I won't be there tomorrow for the show. You know, it's frustrating, it's annoying, it's a pain in the ass, but I can't do anything. I was denied visa based on certified bank statements.
So Andrew goes on to say that moving forward, the Andrew Jack Classic is going to be in either Central, Eastern, or Western Africa, since I guess the travel restrictions are less of a factor. But he also says that he plans on holding an Andrew Jack Classic in the US next year. So that's going to be pretty interesting to see who shows up to that show. I'm sure there's a lot of guys out there that would want to compete in the Andrew Jack Classic. And you know, this is a recurring theme with travel restrictions affecting athletes, and now look, even promoters, essentially, to be able to even get to some of these locations to do these shows. Which is really unfortunate when competitors just want to show up to bring their best to the stage, and Andrew Jack just wants to be a good promoter. And you know, wanting to bring bodybuilding to a region of the world where not many competitions are held. So hopefully the show is a success, and it sounds like he had a lot of competitors signed up to compete, and hopefully next year all of this is sorted out. Now, Andrew also mentions here that he's going to be traveling back to Camp Psycho in California this weekend as well to prepare for the Texas Pro. So stay tuned for updates on Andrew back at Camp Psycho. I'm sure that he's in for another round of torture, and I'm sure that everybody's just as excited to watch it as I am. Anyway, that's it for me in this video, you guys. Thank you for tuning in to EP09. Be sure to like and subscribe.